Dead last. Arizona ranks dead last for public education. That's according to a new study by Consumer Affairs.
Class sizes were also 51st. Teacher salaries also at the bottom.
Is there more to this headline? And more importantly, what can we do to change it? I've got answers for you right now on MOMCAST. Welcome to MOMCAST. I'm Emma Jade, and I'm sure you saw the story come across your feed. Arizona public education ranked 51st in the nation. Turns your stomach as a parent with kids in school. What are we doing wrong here? This is not right, and what can we do to change it? Because we can't stand for this. 51st place? Consumer Affairs released the study. I want to break down exactly what factors led to our last place ranking. Consumer Affairs analyzed data from all 50 states and Washington, D.C. They concluded Arizona the worst when it comes to four key categories: safety, K-12 performance, school funding, and higher education quality. When you look deeper into this study, Arizona ranked 50th in funding. We don't pay teachers well. I'm sure you know that. Annual salaries dancing around the $50,000 mark. And our class sizes, they're massive. Consumer Affairs reporting Arizona has the most crowded public school classrooms in America, averaging about 23 kids per teacher. And I know that rings true for my kids' classrooms. I'm wondering with yours. We did rank 40th in performance, which is better than last. I mean, I guess we'll take that. But that ranking came from looking at test scores across K through 12, along with ACTs and SATs. Unfortunately, though, really all comes down to money. Arizona does not spend on public education. This is not new. This has been the case for several years, which is why we are in last place. We've got a big election coming up. Can we change the trajectory? Can we pull ourselves out of this hole, get our schools to a place where teachers and students are appreciated and thriving? Because it's not just about schools. There is a really big and important ripple effect. When we invest in schools, we invest in our community. I sat down with an expert that you know, Joe Dana. He's a reporter here at 12 News. He has followed public education for decades. Here's his take, and more importantly, what we can do to improve this ranking. We see the headline. It turned my stomach. Like, I could not believe dead last. But what else is to that headline? Like, what really went into this?
Yeah, Consumer Affairs looked at 10 or 11 metrics of schools, and including per pupil funding, which we are 51st. No surprise there. It's kind of a broken record. Class sizes were also 51st right there. And teacher salaries also at the bottom. So yeah, across the board, Arizona historically has not fared well with support for public schools, and the trend continues. A lot of people say, well, wait a minute, what about Red for Ed? And what about Prop 123? There were these big pushes during the Ducey administration to boost school funding. But really what we did during those times was we just dug ourselves out of a hole we were already in. Because after the recession, Arizona made the deepest cuts of any state to school funding, and we were the slowest to recover. And that's why we're in the situation we're in.
See, when I talk to people like you, you're looking at me like, well, yeah, no duh, we're ranked last. But to other moms in carpool, we all talked about this, like, what is going on? Why do you say no duh? Why do you say, yeah, of course we're ranked 51st?
Well, it's a longer story in Arizona. When my grandmother was an English teacher in the Mesa Public School District in the 1960s, we have a contract of her teaching contract for a year. And we looked at that and said, how would that compare to today's standards with inflation? And she was, I think, a sixth-year teacher at that point, full-time. She was very strict, by the way. And it would have been about $80,000 today for her contract. And so what we've done over the decades is we've slowly devalued the teacher salary in Arizona. And we've made it less of our priority. So it's like when I talk to state legislators, and I've been doing this now more than 20 years, the ones that are in charge, I say, look, why can't you do more? They say, well, they say we've boosted funding this much. It seems like the districts could be doing better with their money. There's some way they can actually make it work. And when I ask them, well, show me specifics, where's money being wasted? They never show me specifics of systemic misspending or systemic wasted funds. So I'm going to be honest, Emma, a lot of our legislators down there, they either don't care to know the details about school funding, or they do know, but they don't want to acknowledge how bad the problem is. And that's tragic. It really is. And so that's been the climate there, the culture for a lot of years.
Why? Why? It seems like the dumbest decision, and I'm sorry to speak so frank. I'm frustrated, though. It seems like the dumbest decision to cut for the coming generation. Are you kidding me? Why are we doing that? Why are we allowing this to happen for not just the last couple of years, for decades?
Yeah. And there are a couple of philosophies at play. In the late 90s, also, the state of Arizona really jumped into the school choice movement. And that has been a big benefit for tons of families. It took on that new system of charter schools. That's one reason you could argue why. In the last couple of years, it's taken on now a third system, which is universal ESAs. It is now paying for families to send their kids to private schools in the face of strained budgets, even after the recession. The legislature, which has been led by Republicans during the last 10 to 15 years, they've held strong to this idea that you want to continue to cut corporate taxes. If you can cut taxes, it's better overall for the economy. And there are a lot of good arguments for that. But what that has also done is it's reduced the amount of revenue we collect as a state. And so we have less wiggle room to replenish school funding.
Still to come on MOMCAST. Is there any glimmer of hope? Is there any bit that's like, wait a minute, you guys, there's more to this headline. We're on the right track. Do you feel that at all? When you see this headline, it's number one, it scares parents, but number two, there's going to be a ripple effect. More people are going to choose to go outside of public education in Arizona, don't you think?
Yeah, and educators have said there's this irony that the people in charge at the legislature sort of chipped away over many, many years at the resources that school districts have, and so that our class sizes are so big, and students are much easier lost in the system, and teachers are much less likely to want to stay in the profession. And as they chipped away at all this, they then turned around and said, we need to make sure we give parents a new option. If they want to go to the private school, they should have that ability, because our public schools just aren't doing the job. Well, a big reason the public schools can't do the job is because those same leaders have been, depriving school districts of just the resources they need.
Can a parent who is frustrated, can we help turn this around? Because honestly, when you talk about all the bureaucracy behind it all, it feels a little bit like no matter what I do, no matter how much I care, am I really going to matter that much?
Yeah. My number one recommendation to parents who care is find out who your local legislators are. Get a 5 to 10 minute face-to-face conversation with them. Because a lot of these folks down there, they're good people. They want to do a good job. Many of them have kids in the districts, but they may need to hear directly from parents specifically about, this is what I'm seeing.
What, in your opinion, what is the perfect solution here that digs us out of spot 51 and gets us to the top? What's the perfect solution? I want to go to the top. I got kids coming into these schools, man.
I know,
I'm worried.
Emma, I know. And this is the thing. My kids went through Arizona public schooling.
And they're a mess. No, I'm just kidding.
And you should see them today. They were in the heart of this post-recession state of education in Arizona. I saw their teachers come and go. They just had a patchwork of teachers. It was really tough to watch. Teachers who didn't even really teachers who weren't educated in one subject trying to teach them like a computer class, or a photography class, or middle of the year they leave and then someone else has to come in. And they did not get the education I got growing up here in Glendale. They did not get the lifelong career teachers on a consistent basis that they deserved. And so I hope that the tide changes for you and your kids. But if you ask, educators and the advocates for public education here in the state, they'll say it's not complicated. You need to significantly boost funding for schools. And yes, you should question how every expenditure is made. You should look at the audits of school districts, make sure it's spent smartly. But they would say, stop assuming that school districts don't know how to manage money, because they are facing unique challenges financially, and they simply need the funding.
So really, is the answer just in how I vote? Is that really how I can help turn this around? Does it boil down to that? Because a lot of it is money that's decided upon in the legislature. Am I making it too simple, or is that really what it comes down to?
I mean, look, if you ask the state Democratic Party, they'll tell you absolutely. I just did a story yesterday. There are 5 educators who are trying to flip swing districts so that there are more teachers and educators in the legislature, and the Democrats flip that 1-seat majority. The Democrats will tell you that's the answer, because they'll say historically Democrats are more in tune with the needs of public schools. The Republicans will say that it's an ongoing struggle, but that there may be ways to reform how school districts manage their money. And I have come back to them and said, well, why haven't you figured out some of these solutions the last 15 years? And so Republicans are in a tight spot because they just don't have a good track record, because they've been in charge for the last 15 years. We're trying to attract companies. When you talk about economics, we're trying to recruit people to come move here and work at some of these incredible microchip companies and that we have that are set up here. And, just from a public image standpoint, we want to have a better reputation. On top of that, what the analysts and economists will tell you, if you have a higher quality public education system, you will have a stronger workforce, and you will have a more robust economy. That's not a secret, right? I mean, we come in from this system in America where we had our forefathers sort of say, okay, public education should be this right that everyone has access to because it's important for a healthy democracy. You need informed citizens, right? So there's this sort of idealistic way to look at public education, but there's also a very practical way to look at it, which is, if you have better public schools, you're going to have more skilled workers and a more profitable economy.
There is hope. There are some really incredible things happening in our schools that will just make you beam with pride, like this story. You're going to meet an incredible teenager. His name is CJ. CJ was diagnosed with alopecia at just 8 years old when he went completely bald. I mean, we're talking eyebrows, everything gone at 8. It took some time, but somehow this incredible kid turned his diagnosis into a superpower. You're gonna love him. Meet CJ. Okay, when did you even discover that you were diagnosed with alopecia?
Yeah, it was a long journey. I discovered I was just diagnosed with alopecia when I was 8 years old, May of 2016. So it started off with just dime-sized bald spot right here, and then it grew and it grew and it grew, and by August of 2017, I was completely bald. No eyebrows, no hair, no nothing. So starting my 4th grade year, going into a new school, completely bald. There was a lot of stress and a lot of scary thoughts behind it.
Still ahead on MOMCAST. Can you imagine like how cool you're gonna feel Saturday? This place is like packed with people from the community. I mean, that's gonna be, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Hard enough switching schools, especially at that age, you know, going into 4th grade, but then going in completely bald, all of the questions. How did you finally get to a place where you could really embrace not just the diagnosis, but who you are?
Yeah. Well, the funny part is from 4th to, I want to say around 6th, 7th grade, I wore a hat every day at school. The school let me, there's no hats allowed at the school, but the school let me, for a special rule, they let me wear a hat so I can feel more comfortable in myself. And if it was windy on a day like this and my hat flew off, I was panicked because then everyone would see the real me. And I didn't want that to happen. But once I started getting a little more comfortable, maybe it'd fly off during a PE class and I would leave it off for like 5 to 10 minutes. That was a win for me. And then eventually when it started growing back a little bit more, I rocked the comb over with some ball in the back, and I kind of just steady. It took me around 5 years to be even okay with the idea of me taking my hat off. And now I think I'm at the point where I'm 17, about to go on 18 in May. And I've learned it's who I am. It's part of what makes me confident in myself. It's part of what makes me happy to be who I am, that I'm bald and I have power in that. And that's kind of what the shirt says for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. They gave me the shirt to represent for the walk. It's not just about your hair. When you get diagnosed with this, it's hard to just get over the fact that your hair defines who you are in some sense, especially when I was younger like myself, and especially for young girls who have alopecia. If you can imagine, like girls, they have already these high beauty standards.
Totally.
So and then losing this hair, then they need to get wigs that can cost sometimes up to $10,000. And some families just can't afford that, obviously. And it's not just about your hair, it's the psychological aspects that come with that too. So now I can kind of flip that in my age and say, it's not just about my hair because I'm so much more than that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm a person who does so many beautiful things, and I try to help all the people around me that I can. So, yeah, it's not just hair. You can be so much more than just your hair. And I'd just say don't let your hair define you.
So it's really interesting because you talk about how you used to be in 4th grade and how it was so embarrassing and it was hard.
Yeah.
Now fast forward to 17-year-old CJ, who not only has embraced it, but you're here helping other people because of what's happening this weekend. Yeah.
So this weekend, September 28th at 9 a.m. here at Westwood High School, we're doing our alopecia walk. So it's the first ever one in Arizona from my knowledge, and I'm setting it up. This is the first year of it. I'm really excited. I'll do 1.5 miles, just getting support. We just want people to come and support. We've already raised $1,300 for this, and that's just for awareness, trying to find a cure, because there's no cure for the disease. So seeing all that support that I've got so far, just by posting and telling people about it, seeing what we raised from that, I've been so grateful from that. And I just hope that kind of translates into the walk, and we get people here, we just get people excited about learning about alopecia and just helping out a community.
You said for a long time you didn't know anyone else, not just in your community, but anyone else who had alopecia growing up.
Yeah, no, from 8 years old to 17, I didn't know anyone until this summer when I went to the National Alopecia Areata Conference in DC this year, and I got to meet hundreds and hundreds of people just like me that had my hair, and that's kind of what inspired me to do this whole thing, whereas I saw other young kids that I remember myself being like that, and I remember they were lost, and I was trying to find ways. I was talking to them, trying to help them, give them my story.
There's a lot of kids who struggle with feeling different, whether it's not having hair, like with alopecia, or they look different in other ways, or they feel different in other ways. What's some advice that you would give to those kids who feel so different that it's painful?
You have to embrace who you are at some point, and it's really hard to say, but I didn't embrace who I was at all for 7 years. And learning who I am through that is really, really important. I learned that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique, because that's what makes your beauty. That's what makes you special. Not one single person here is the same, and that's what makes everyone who they are. Well, that's what makes us humans so amazing, is that we all have our differences and we all have our unique abilities, that you can look a certain way and you can act a certain way, and that's all okay, because it's okay to be different.
If you could talk to that 4th grader who is dealing with losing his hair for the first time, and not just a little bit bald, all the way bald, no eyebrows, everything, what would you say to that little CJ?
Yeah, that little CJ, I would say it's going to be okay because there's bigger things coming.
Yeah.
Hair is, I mean, any of us can shave our hair off, and that's what we're trying to say. It's not just hair, but there's bigger things coming for you, and this will make you a stronger person for the things you want to do in the future. So
you're just in DC. That's where you got the idea for the walk.
Yep.
We're having the first one ever at Westwood this weekend. Okay, so tell me where the walk starts.
So the walk is going to start at this line right here.
Okay.
And then we're going to go for families that maybe have little kids or they
Yes.
just want to do a couple laps. They can just go around this track a couple times. And then for everyone else, we're going to do a big walk. It's a mini cross-country loop. We're going to go around out here, just get some good views of the school, and there'll be stations that from other student helpers that want to help me and help support the walk. They'll be handing out waters and drinks and food and stuff. So it'll be a good little community.
And how did you get other kids involved? Was it just asking friends to join in?
Yeah, so I started this walk. I asked all my friends to just repost it, and all of a sudden their friends reposted it, and then we probably honestly got 200 reposts just on Instagram throughout the students at Westwood High School. So everyone really knows about it, put up flyers about it, and then people would come up to me, ask me like, hey, can I, like, anything like where you can do this? Because I'm asked them, hey, we have service opportunities if you guys want to help out too. It's like, oh, of course I want to help out. I was going to help out no matter what. So, and I honestly don't have that severe of a case of alopecia anymore because of how it's grown, but again, it comes and it goes, so it could fall out over the course of the next year. My eyebrows have been starting to thin out a little bit, but besides that, I've been pretty consistent with it.
Can you imagine like how cool you're gonna feel Saturday when this place is like packed with people from the community? I mean, that's gonna be, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I'm most excited for is the turnout, and it'll be emotional because I'll just get to see everyone that's like ever really wanted to support me too, and that just saying that as a person, as a human being, is really, I don't know, that's impactful. So.
CJ, I'm like so happy to know you. This has been so
Thank
cool.
you. This is awesome.
And if you're inspired by everything that CJ is doing, you can actually support his walk, which, by the way, is happening this weekend, Saturday, September 28th at Westwood High School. Starts at 9 a.m. All you got to do is visit support.naaf.org. All the details you need are right there. Thank you so much for joining us. I will see you next week, Thursday, 2:30, right here on 12 News. I'm Emma Jade. Thanks for watching MOMCAST.